it's Case, and we've got a beautiful-looking day here in northeast Pennsylvania. Leaves are starting to change. It is a little chilly out there, but big difference from the last couple of days ago where it was rainy, and now we've got some absolutely fantastic weather out here. But, hey, let's continue with the show. We got about 7 minutes after the 2 o'clock hour, and what that means is it's time now for our very special guest. We try to host a very special guest once a week, and so excited to have my new BFF on board, Miss Stephanie Quayle. Stephanie, how the heck are you, my girl?
Oh, man, I'm good. I know. I feel like, well, as soon as we start talking, I'm like, are you sure we aren't already, like, good friends? No, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, already have a wonderful connection, and that's, I love that kind of stuff. So it was funny because I was like, let's not do this off air. Let's talk about this stuff on air.
Oh, it's true. It's cool.
So
well, no, we were talking about your love of the river.
Yeah, man. I get out as often as I can. I have my own boat, and I try to get that out. I have a small oar frame, so I get that out, and I kayak. And I actually we're really kind of getting off on a very bizarre start to this interview. But I had shoulder surgery this past spring because I ended up having locked shoulder over winter, and I couldn't move my arm. And the one thing I was really bummed about, I'm like, tell me I'm never going to be able to paddle again, because I was really bummed about that. And it was a long haul, but I've actually been getting out and doing some paddling again and rowing my boat, and just really, like, thank goodness I have it somewhat back. And I'm like working really hard to be able to continue to kayak and boat and stuff. So I'm excited about that. But we were talking about this because you're from Montana.
From Montana. I spent a lot of time on the Yellowstone and the Madison. Those were the rivers where I would sit next to the Madison with my guitar and my little books and write all kinds of songs. And, oh, yeah.
Isn't the river one of the coolest places to just kind of get yourself back in check?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I was just back in Montana. We had a show there last weekend, and I immediately we have a little creek that's near our house. I don't know if y'all say crick or creek, but I think I say both. But and I went and I just got my feet in it. It was freezing cold, but it was just wonderful.
Yeah. It's just one of those places you can go and listen to the water and just kind of veg out and usually solve my problems. Like if I have something that's really, really bugging me, I'll just go up and take a walk along the river, take the puppies with me and watch them romp around and go, you know what? It's really not that bad. It's you know.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, and a lot of times for me, I'll get like writer's block on a song or a chord, and I won't know where to go. And usually when I kind of step out of it, next to that river is where it all comes back.
Yeah. Rivers are pretty darn amazing. They're incredibly peaceful and incredibly powerful at the same time, which is just one of those things. They can be the cutest little creek, whatever you want to call it, and have some little fishes in it and a little waterfall and some nice things. And then they can destroy anything in its path in a matter of seconds if they want to.
And you can never underestimate the power of nature.
That's right. And I've been on some big rivers in my day, and I'm just like, man, this thing is kicking my butt.
Yeah, I mean, you are a tough cookie, my friend. I love it. You were telling me those stories. I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm kind of like the slow motion river floater, and like where like a little rapid here and there. But I mean, I've done some whitewater stuff, but never, goodness, you've seen some rivers.
Yeah, I did it for a while. And it's funny because, it's like, the professional, it's like, oh, you got to have a life jacket. There's a river near where I live, very close to where I live, and we go down. It's a little class 3, and, I've kayaked it and rode it, and I've been on it, and all kinds of levels, big, really high, crazy stuff, and then where you're kind of pulling your boat across the rock sort of thing. And my husband jokes with me all the time, and I'm like, dude, you can't go out there without a life jacket. You need a decent boat. You need a life jacket. And he's like, before I met you, I used to go out there sitting in an inner tube with another inner tube tied with me full of beer, and we were just fine. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, though, because we go out on the river usually around the 4th of July every year in Montana. I'm usually home for a few days. I've got shows on both ends. And we've yet to master the, little speakers with our country music in the Ziplocs and in the water bag. It's hysterical. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, without it getting completely and totally wet where it gets ruined, right?
Yes, 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 exactly. I've not mastered that by any means. It's usually like, almost falls in and,
Yeah.
somehow we make it work. We make it work. But thank you so much for having me on your show today. This is so exciting.
Yeah, and I'm excited too. I mean, you've got. We're going to get into your history here, but you've definitely got a great song out there, and I'm dying to hear the entire story, and I know my audience is too. But let's just for the shits and giggles of it, let's just back up for just a second. Now, I've already mentioned that you are from Montana. You've explained that a little bit, but how do you get from Montana, hanging out by the creek kind of girl to, you're in Nashville, you're recording music and you're creating this wonderful, musical and inspirational career. Take us a little bit through some of those steps, Stephanie, and tell us how you got to where you're at.
Absolutely. Well, it's such an interesting time right now because my single Drink of Dolly is absolutely attached to this insane journey that I've been on for some years now. But growing up in Montana, I was singing at such a young age and writing songs and playing the piano and picking up the guitar, and I just didn't know it could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
I was growing up listening to this. We had this little AM silver radio in our barn that played country music 24/7, and it was wall to wall. And
yeah, there you go.
We just listened to it all the time, and so I know that it impacted my style of writing and just my ear at a very young age, but I didn't know it was a possibility for me. And so it wasn't until I did an exchange program. I was my sophomore year of high school. I went to, my junior year of high school, I went to Switzerland on an exchange program.
Nice.
And I was always interested in the French language. My mom spoke a little bit of French, and she would sing to me in French when I was a little kid. She's not French, but she just did. And and so it was the country in which I ended up. There was like three choices. It was France, Belgium, or Switzerland. And so we all decided that Switzerland was the place I was going to go. And if it wouldn't have been for this wild, hey, I'm going to do an exchange program and leave the country my junior year of high school, I would never have met this little band in Switzerland that needed a lead singer. And their lead singer had left to go to Germany to be a soap opera actress.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I said, well, I sing. And they said, well, come and audition. And they, I got the job, and we started writing songs together and playing out on the weekends. So, I'm immersed in this Swiss culture, speaking French 24/7, meanwhile writing songs in English with this band and performing on the weekends. And it was when I was on stage with this band, I knew that this would be my life. I knew it was possible. And I didn't know how. I didn't know what it was going to take to get there. I just knew that this is what I'm meant to do.
That's awesome.
And then it was, triumphs and heartache and yeses and nos and you can't and you won't, and you just keep going and you just keep going and going, and you outwrite your last song. And I was full-time live music about 7 years ago, 2010 I went full-time music.
Mm-hmm.
And 2011 I moved to Nashville. I wanted to come to Nashville ready. I say ready in the sense that to where I could fully immerse myself in music and not have any distractions to where I was getting pulled in multiple directions. I'd already done that. Already worked, multiple jobs trying to make ends meet to try to do the music. And I remember back in 2010 I said, if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it. And fully devoted myself to the music. And moving to Nashville really clicked for me when I was ready for it to click, I think, if that makes sense. I just kept my head down and went to every songwriter round I could find. And for those that don't know what a songwriter round is, it's where you could pretty much walk into any venue in Nashville any given night of the week, and there's 4 or 5 songwriters up on stage on a stool playing their songs that they've written, and it's just a guitar and a vocal or a keyboard and a vocal. And it showed me that if you can write a great song and it be that raw and exposed and it be that great, then you can always add in all the other stuff.
Right.
And so it was really an exciting and horrifying experience for me, because it's like, man, you're so exposed. Like, there's no, like, smoke and mirrors. It's here you go. And I think that also really gave me a fortitude to like, okay, if I can do that, if I can get to that point, then I'll be respected by this community, and hopefully, my peers will, go, okay, yeah, she's one of us. She can hang. And so it's taken years of really developing that craft and writing songs and writing not so great songs. And, it's I remember a songwriter. I was at a songwriting festival, and he said, "You have to dare to suck." And
I like it.
I thought that was the most wonderful way of putting it, because if you don't try, if you don't attempt, if you don't at least, even if it's garbage, at least you're one step closer to treasure. You know what I mean? Like, you're just one step closer to it being great. And I think that, as a performer and an artist, and an entertainer, that's such a comfortable place for me because I've been doing it for so long. When you are sitting next to people that have written #1 hits for George Strait, Reba McEntire, Faith Hill, that's a little intimidating.
Yeah.
And so as a songwriter, I'm constantly striving for how can I write a better story? How can I make a bigger impact? And with all of this, it kind of leads into the single because, when I heard Drinking with Dolly for the first time, I was in the studio with Matt McClure, who's producing the album. He produced I Drive Your Truck for Lee Brice. He's
right.
Extraordinary. And I played him a few of my songs, just me on the guitar. And he said, "There's a song I have that you have to hear." And so anytime someone says that to you, looks you deadlock in the eyes, you're like, man, this is going to be a song, And so he put on this guitar vocal of Drinking with Dolly, and my little hairs on my arms went straight up. My eyes welled up with tears, and I just looked at him and said, "This is my song."
Mm-hmm.
And, for those that don't know, when a song's written by major writers and who have major publishing deals, they usually hold out for the Carrie Underwoods or the Miranda Lamberts to cut their song. Obviously,
right.
It's so much more exposure and guaranteed exposure. With me, it's kind of, there's risk. I'm an independent artist and a newer artist, and I haven't had my #1 yet. So it was just an extraordinary day when we got word that the writers and publishers signed off on me singing Drinking with Dolly. And it's so wild because, Casey, I said when I first heard it, I go, the world has to hear this song. This song cannot be forgotten. Like, this song cannot go unheard. It was very, I don't mean to be so intense about it, but that passion for this song is such a beautiful tribute to the women of country music, and it's Dolly Parton, and I just had to do it. Like, I said these words, I have to sing this song, and then, not knowing that it would unfold to be the single, and we just met with CMT, and we've got a new music video coming out for it, so it's just kind of grabbed everyone's hearts in different ways, and it's really changed my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wild.
That's awesome. That's a crazy story, though. Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. But, what I'm hearing, the one thing I think I'm hearing, above and beyond everything that you went through, and this is a question that sometimes I ask, but I think in all of that you answered it full-heartedly. There's so many people out there trying to do what you're trying to do. On every street corner in Nashville, across the country, you got those big shows like the American Idol and The Voice and all that, where you've got thousands of people trying out, for stuff, and they're going to get the no's, and they're going to get the knockdowns, and they're going to get this, and they're going to get that. But out of that entire story, perseverance, believing in yourself, not letting the no's break you down, make your mistakes and learn from them.
Right.
Is that pretty much what you would compilate the whole entire experience to someone new who came up to you and said, "How did you do it? What do I need to know?"
I would say if there's any part of you that could walk away from it, you should walk away and let it be a beautiful hobby and love music. But if you want this as a business and a career, you have to believe in yourself when everyone else goes away. You have to be able to go in your room and pick up your guitar, sit down at your piano or whatever your instrument is, and be completely filled with joy just in that moment. Because it's a constant roller coaster. The ups are extraordinary. The downs are opportunities to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And I just have found that with everyone that's told me no over the years, I'm very grateful for them, because I've earned every blessing that's coming. We have a team of people that are working so hard, and myself and the band, and the countless hours, and the 3 a.m. mornings that start the day, and the 1 or 2 o'clock when you get home a.m. from a show. It's a lot of hard work and dedication, and I think that if you love it, the work, it's still work, but it's a different kind of work, because when you do what you love, like you do, you know what I'm talking about. It's a different kind of work. You're doing what you're meant to do. And I think that if you're not meant to do something, it's hard. It doesn't feel good. You don't enjoy it. And so, all the hours and hours of practicing my guitar in order to rehearse, the practicing my voice and all those different things, you have to want it. It has to be like breathing. And then when someone says you can or you won't, it's just like, okay, next.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that before. I think the one thing I always say is, no one can make you quit something. Only you can quit yourself in that sense. Like with a dream or something you're going after or chasing, when people say that you can't do that, I just kind of look at it like, well, I mean, that's on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, learn from it, become stronger. And really, like you said before, if you're going to commit to it, then you have to commit 1,000%. If it's anything less than 1,000%, if it's like you said, just kind of like a hobby, or I like doing it or whatever, then that's how you treat it. But if it's something that this is it, you have to dedicate every minute of every day. And travel that journey, no matter how good or how bad it may feel at times, Yeah,
and make it about the music.
Yeah,
making great music. That's one thing that I've felt a huge shift, career-wise, and also just in what I write and when I'm looking for songs, is what's the message, and do I believe what I'm singing? And if I don't believe in this, how am I going to expect my flock of quail, my incredible fans, to believe in what I'm saying? And I think for me, it has to be more than just about, yes, do I want number ones? Of course. Do I want to win Grammys and ACMs and CMAs? Oh, man, wouldn't that be something? But I want to impact lives and influence as many people as I can in a positive way. And music is my vessel. It's my ship. And I love when a fan comes up and says, you don't know how that has inspired my life or has helped me through a situation. That makes it all worth it. When you've had 1 hour of sleep and you just don't know how you're going to, go that extra mile, you find that, that breath of fresh air through, as you know, Casey, when you have listeners and they're like, you don't know how much that helped me.
Right.
You don't even realize. And then that keeps you going. So it's this incredible relationship and synergy between, in my case, the fans and my music. And I couldn't do what I do without them. There's no question.
Awesome. We're going to have to take a quick break. Stephanie, can you hang in there for a little bit?
Absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk more about your new music, including, the song that you have right now as your new single, Drinking with Dolly. But when we come back, I want to talk about some of the first projects that you had out there. I have Sugar High, which impacted radio, and some of those other tunes, and a little bit more about, how your fan base is so structured and your flock of quail, as you call them. We're gonna touch base on some of that stuff when we come back. You can hang in there for a couple more minutes?
Absolutely, love to.
Awesome. More with Stephanie Quayle coming up we got to pay some bills. We're going to hear some of her music, including her latest single, plus some older stuff that she has out there, which is where maybe you heard her for the very first time and was like, who's that girl? We're going to be back with more Stephanie Quayle coming up right after this. And it's all about the country right now here on Penn's Peak Radio. We've got the loveliest Stephanie Quayle on board. And so glad to have her here. Stephanie, let's go back just a little bit to one of your earlier projects that you did. You had some music out there, and you ended up doing some videos with them. And I would like to talk about some of those songs. The two that I have on board include Sugar High, and that's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Were these some of your first projects that you had out there?
You know, I've even had more out even before, but these are really, when I think about, steps toward, climbing the charts and making my way in country music, they both have had major impacts for me. And Sugar High was just one of those songs, I just fell in love with it. It reminded me of like a Strawberry Wine, Dina Carter, and written by dear friend Kelly Loveless, who's phenomenal. And when I heard it, I just loved it. And I just loved the message. And making the video for that, this girl, me, grew up with horses. So anytime I see horses, if it's on the side of the road, I will pull over, make my way through the fence. Like, it's just, I have a passion for horses. I have my whole life. So when we made the Sugar High video and we, put a bunch of horses in it, I was a very happy camper. It was hilarious because the whole time we're shooting the video, they're like, Stephanie, we need you to come back in frame. I'm like, I know, but these horses over here, I have to focus. But it was so much fun. And it's one of those songs that song, Sugar High, was actually the first song that I think it was last year I was doing a performance for St. Jude up in Montana with W2W Country, which is a local station there. And that was the first time the audience sang back the song word for word, note for note.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I just about lost it. Like I couldn't function. I was so excited because I'd never experienced that before.
That's awesome.
And it was really incredible. And it was such a special show and for such a great cause. And then I'm looking around the audience going, okay, wait, let me make sure this is not my family members. And make sure those are like legit fans. This is real cool and really special. And then when that's what I'm talking about, this song will be one I will always play because it is so much fun.
Okay, well let's wait. Take a break. 1 second.
Yeah.
Let me play Sugar High.
Oh, sure.
Now that you gave the background of that a little bit, and then we'll talk about that's what I'm talking about, which is weird that I had to say it that way.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wow. And then you can choose one song I like to play at the end of my show to remind everybody listening on Sunday. So you can either choose that one or Drinking with Dolly, and you can tell me that when we come back. But I want to give people a taste of what you sound like as far as, this radio impact, this reaching out to the fans, kind of getting their attention maybe for the first real time
Right.
with your music. And did you write the song Sugar High?
I didn't. That's written by Kelly Loveless and Ashley Gorley.
All right. But it was just something that reached out to you and you, again, it's one of those things where these songs touch people and they're like, okay, that's my song. That's something I want to do.
Absolutely.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're going to play it. We're gonna get some of our listening audience dialed in here and give them a listen of your stuff. You can hang in there for just a little bit longer?
You got it.
Awesome. We're going to be back with more Stephanie and a tune from one of her current projects, but something that really managed to impact radio and impact her friends and kind of get a raised eyebrow by some people. We're going to be back with more of her and her song, Sugar High, coming up in just a minute. I love it. 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 I love it.
Woo-hoo!
And you know what? I'm all about the horses too, man. If you read my stuff, you also know that I am all about country girl. I love riding horses, and you and I both, we'd be like, I want to ride that one. No, I want to try that one over there. Oh, give me a saddle for that guy over there.
I know, it's the truth. It's so fun. I love. There's just something about a horse.
Yep. Oh, I'm with you. If I could afford one, I probably I have the land for it, but oh my gosh, those poor things, man, they're just so expensive to keep.
They do eat.
Yeah.
The horses.
Yeah. And God forbid something happened to them too. You know, I mean, there's.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But nice video. I liked it. I have to say, my first impression with the sound, the music, the song, Miranda Lambert. That's who came to mind.
Hey, that's incredible company. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
She's outstanding, and I think she's amazing. So thank you.
I loved it. I mean, I really do. I mean, you could hang. You can hang with Miranda. You can hang with Carrie. I'm telling you, man, you've got something going on there, and I loved it. I really did. And, I'm looking forward to sharing, some of the stuff that you've written as well. Let's get to that a little bit. Now, we were talking about That's What I'm Talking About. Gosh, you say that twice. As well as Drinking with Dolly. One of the songs I'd like to play at the end of my show to remind everybody to listen in on Sunday if they missed any of the interview of your music. Which one would you like me to feature next?
I think Drinking with Dolly should be at the end of the show.
Okay,
Cool.
I can do that.
So we can do that in the middle.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Now, you're doing pretty good with the videos. I find that some artists shy away from the videos a little bit, kind of like really struggle to get there. Are you having fun with the videos, or are they a challenge to do the video and have the music sync up and the pictures work just right? Is it easy? Do you think it's easier for you, or is that still another challenge as far as getting these videos done?
Sure. I love, I guess I love being on camera. I love sharing the music that way. I feel like it makes, I think of songs as little mini movies.
Okay.
And so I love the music video format, and I've found that, now with social media, there's so much more interaction with videos,
Sure.
Being able to go live and do all these different things. So I really like it. I definitely don't mind being a total nerd and sharing my nerdy side. So it's fun to be able to kind of just share all the parts of me, with Snapchat. Yesterday I took my friend out for her birthday for lunch, and we had s'mores. And, who knew you could get s'mores for lunch? Evidently, this is a thing I did not know about. And so I might have started my marshmallow on fire and captured this on Snapchat. So, I just love being able to share it. And I think with music videos, I don't know, I just love the format. So I think the song comes to life in a different way through music videos.
Sure. You're getting impacted more senses.
Right.
I mean, and there's something to be said to hear just a song when people can, kind of take the song and manipulate it into their life and their images and what's going on with them, and, kind of get that connection with a song, but then also to experience a song through the artist's eyes of presenting the vision that you have and how you think the song should be perceived vision-wise. So I think it's kind of it's two sides of a coin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely. Well, a lot of times too, haven't you found like you'll listen to a song, and if you don't know the lyrics exactly, you'll make your own?
Yeah. All the time.
Really, which I find like has been the most hilarious experience. I'm like, oh, that's what he was saying. Yeah. Oh, I really should look at the lyrics first.
Oh.
As a writer, I just like go and I write my own.
That makes so much more sense now.
Right.
Awesome.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
This is really cool, and I want to play this next song before I cut you loose. But there's something I want to touch on that you mentioned before, and I always find this so encouraging, inspirational, all of those really cool words. When artists have the opportunity to do something, I mean, everybody in your life can do something for a cause. You can share your talent, you can spend your time, you can spend your dollars if that's what you got. But when you have talent and you can take that and use it for a good cause, whatever that talent may be, I think that's an amazing thing. And you had mentioned St. Jude's before. Is that one of your top-notch fundraising efforts that you use your talent for, or is it a different one?
It's definitely one of them. I mean, when it comes to anything kids, I pretty much will do anything for little humans. I look at it two ways, and you kind of touched on it. It's like, for a long time I didn't have money to give. So giving of my time and acts of service, I think, are such an incredible opportunity to give. When you think that like giving money is what people need, I sometimes find like giving your time is so much more valuable
Mm-hmm.
and impactful. But I've also, St. Jude's, yes, my local food bank.
Mm-hmm.
We've done a lot of fundraising concerts for them to bring food in to our community in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
I've also done a lot with Gold Star families in our military. So I'm all about the people and however I can help. I have done some stuff with Operation Smile as well, which is a really incredible organization that helps get surgeries for kids with cleft palates and cleft lips.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
so kiddos. I love me the kiddos, and I actually get to go over to Vanderbilt Hospital on Friday and perform for some of the kids at the Children's Hospital there. So, I think any way I can make a positive impact, as long as it's, one thing I do is I vet the organizations that I get involved with, because I want to make sure that the efforts are going to the people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the most important.
Oh, that's pretty awesome that, everybody has that. And like I said, I really think that's admirable. I think, it's just like you said, when your fans are singing your words back and they're enjoying it and making an experience with the music, one way for you to pay it forward for the support of your fans is to turn around and pay it forward to the people who need it. And sometimes music, especially with kids or especially with certain things, help them forget about what's going on,
Yeah.
even if it's for 3 minutes and 19 seconds. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think music is so powerful. It transcends all languages. It's so funny because you can put on a song that maybe might have a sad, message, and it feel like that perfect shoulder to lean on,
Mm-hmm.
and you can listen to a happy song and it takes you right. Music is just so powerful that it's incredible to be able to share that, and if that gives someone a moment of escape, if that gives them a breath from whatever hardship they're going through or health hardship, that's the greatest gift that music has. And
Right.
I'm so grateful that I can do that.
And that's pretty awesome. And, kudos to you and continue that. Don't, I always tell some of my younger artists, don't ever lose that. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget what it took to get there, because somebody might need you as an inspiration one day. And that's one of the biggest things is, like you said, with your fan base even, and how people can reach out these days can get to people so much easier with the social medias and stuff. When somebody says, hey, listen, what you've did is inspiring me or changing my way of life, or even changing a little thought that I had, putting a smile on someone's face who's having a really shitty day,
Yeah.
sometimes that's all it really takes. And for somebody to say that, that's really, really solidifying that you're doing the right thing, you're in the right path, you're making the right decisions, whether it is a music career or helping somebody put their groceries in a car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's pretty cool. Speaking of your fan base, are you the social media bug? I mean, I know you already said something about Snapchat, but are you totally? I mean, I know you pinged me right away when I followed you on Twitter.
I do it myself, and I'm all over my social medias all the time. It's a little insane probably, but I just love being able to have those, be in real-time, constant contact with, our little flock of quail. It's just really the coolest thing ever. And, to be able to talk with my buddies over in the UK or wherever, social media just enables us all to kind of stay in touch. And it's just really incredible how that brings more people together, like the flock of quail, they communicate without me. They're all doing their thing, and it's just so cool. It's like I'm watching, it's like, this is amazing.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I've been I friended you this past week when I knew you were coming on the show on the Facebook.
Yeah.
So now we can stay in touch, which is totally cool because we can talk about
No, it's very cool.
rivers and horses and things like that.
Right.
You got this new album out. You want to tell us a little bit about that? We're going to play the song Drinking for Dolly at the end of the show, but before I completely forget, tell us what this is all about. You got a new EP coming out. It's got some great new music on it. What's the lowdown on the new EP?
Absolutely. So the new EP will start, I believe we're coming out with it in February of next year, and it's all new songs. Drinking with Dolly will be on it. There's some songs that I've written that no one's heard before that are going to be on it, and it's fun. Like, we have a little more time. Like, I have a few more months of writing, so I keep trying to outwrite my last best song.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a wide range of emotion. But again, all having the undertone of this is going to, the goal is for it to impact the listener in a positive way. Okay. And be that either that shoulder you need or that understanding you need, or just roll down your windows, turn it up, and just cruise, and just go. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just really excited about the music because I have so much fun singing it and performing it and watching the fans. We've been playing a lot of these songs out, so it's been fun to watch them kind of grow with the fans already. Mm-hmm. So when the little EP comes out, it'll be fun to share it.
Okay, well that sounds like a plan.
I don't know what to call it though.
You don't have a name for it yet?
I don't have a name for it yet. I got to start working on it.
Well, listen, when you get it done, are you doing hard copies with this then?
Absolutely. We do hard copies because what we'll usually do is a limited run, and we have them purely at the shows.
Okay. If you have a couple extra, you could always send a few my way.
Don't you worry. By the way, you are a lifetime member of the flock of Quayle.
Awesome.
Pretty much, you're just going to be getting music, and you're going to, you can use it for whatever you'd like.
That's awesome. That would be great. I love to try to keep one for my personal collection, but I also like to send it out there to my listening audience too and help spread the love of the music.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I do
for sure
pass them on to my listeners as well. So with the new EP, let me also just throw this out there before I forget. That sounds like a return visit that you would need to do in February when that does get released. So the doors to Penn Speak Radio via the phone are always open to all my artists. So just keep that in mind if you want to get some more promotion out there when the EP does become available. I'd be glad to have you back on the show, and that'd be awesome.
Amazing, Casey. For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm booking into January and February already, so.
Nice woman.
But keep that in mind. You want to get another date solidified, that would be great. Other than the EP, what else? Can you give me a wink, wink, nudge, nudge of something else going on for Stephanie?
Sure. Well, the Drinking with Dolly music video, we're in the final edits this week.
Okay.
So that will be debuting on a certain network I can't say right now, wink, wink.
Okay.
And in the next few weeks. And then we're on tour. We're doing a bunch of shows. We're headed to Las Vegas in 2 weeks and then California. So for all the tour dates, all the listeners out there, please come check out a show. I'd love to meet you. StephanieQuayle.com. Mm-hmm. You can also download Drinking with Dolly on iTunes and Google Play and Amazon. It's everywhere.
Okay. And again, hey, if you happen to end up in the Northeast PA area, look me up because we're right here.
I'm just going to come find you, and we're gonna go either find us a horse or a kayak. Or both.
I would love to do that. I'll take you down the river. I'd love to do that. I think you and I already have a connection, so I'm excited about that.
For sure.
Before I let you go, I've already kind of held you long enough, and I don't want to keep you too long, Stephanie. But quick, we've been talking about this song. A little background information, because I'm going to play it coming up after the break, after I cut you loose. That's what I'm talking about, which could be defined as a billion different things. So I'm going to let you tell me what it's all about.
So, when you're with all your friends and it's just everything goes right. Mm-hmm. And you just say, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
This is that song.
A little sassy.
It's all about
a little
sass, little bop. Got a little head bop to it.
Okay.
All my girls are dancing in their bare feet with their hands up in the air.
Nice. Sounds like a fine plan.
It's good for the river, let me tell you.
Hey, I got a bonfire pit in my backyard. I play guitar a little bit. I raft, and I love horses. So you need to come to Pennsylvania.
I love it. I love it. I think we're like long-lost sisters.
I think so. I don't know. What the heck? How did I end up in PA and you in Montana? I've always wanted to be in Montana. You even ask my husband. He'll tell you, if you ask him where does she want to live, he'll go Montana.
Yeah, it's a great place. Great place.
Well, Stephanie, you have been a doll, a pleasure, and a treat to talk to. I am so glad of your dedication to the music industry. I think you're definitely on your way. I know it's been a long, hard struggle for you, but along the way, you've turned into an amazing, beautiful artist, woman, and teller of stories. And I think you definitely have. You're going to have some serious impact in the music industry. And you know, it's to repeat your own words of advice. Stay true to yourself and keep doing what you're doing, girl, and stay in touch, man.
Oh, thank you. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I just appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Well, we love it, and we're going to have this song coming up from Stephanie. It's a little something called That's What I'm Talking About. And we're also going to close out the show with her new single. Remember, her EP is going to be coming out sometime in February. She will hopefully have a return visit at that point and tell us the name of the EP. And check this girl out on all the social medias, the Facebook, the Twitter, her website, and just stay in touch with this and become one of the flock of quail, as she calls it. Love, 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 love you to death, Stephanie. We'll be in touch over Facebook, but we're going to cut you loose. Thank you so much for being on the show, girl.
Thank you, sweetness. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.